Hello, car people. Hey, John from John's Barn. Haven't seen you in a while. Boys, it's been a rocky last few months. Went between the house and hauling more junk out of the yard, which rather than not make any content about me junking crap and trying to make the township happy and make my yard look good, like it's supposed to, and taking care of some family matters. It always gets dumped on me because I'm the only one that usually comes to the rescue, so that's how it's been. But anyway, let's go over a few things real quick. It's going to be next month and a half or so is going to be busy, lots of content. Okay, let's what are we going to start with here? Oh, let's start with this. Okay, pick this up. It's a rusty, crusty piece of crap 68 Grand Prix, but of course the silver lining is under the hood. It has the original numbers matching. 350 horse, 404 barrel. I think they're 10 1/4 to 1 compression. Some are 10 1/4, some are 10 1/2. All depend on the application. It turns over. The top half's been done. The guy was from down south. He's from Tennessee. Got the car down there years ago for his boy. Freshened the engine up. At the time, put a set of expensive true wire knockoffs on it. That I can't find the tool for. And son drove for about 4 or 5 months, and they had a motorcycle, and some guy actually went through a red light and hit him and killed him. And so the dad was very despondent, obviously. Parked in the backyard where it sat for plates on it. August of 2000. So 25 years. I don't know if you guys ever seen one of these. I took the bucket seats out of it. They were actually okay. There's a floor shift column that you keep. And this car has one of these goofy options. This is a factory 8-track player. And actually still shifts. Pretty cool. It's a plain Jane car. Crank windows, no tilt, no gauges, AM radio. But they ran that option for, I just think, about 3 years. 60s. I saw one in a 66 Bonneville. I don't know if it was put in there or if it was an option. I've never seen one in a 65. A lot of 67s and 8s. I think it was just a 2 or 3 year option, give or take. But it's a rusty car. Gonna pull the engine out of it next week and send it to that great crusher in the, that great crusher that turns them into little bitty pieces, and it'll come out a Toyota 4Runner or something. Here's a friend of mine's 72 Grand Prix. We're gonna be doing a stroker motor on this one. He was from Georgia. It was a neighbor of the family. Bought the car from them. It's got a 30 over 455 that they did not do right. It's got cast pistons with 4 valve reliefs, and it's got, the heads are like 114 cc. He lied to him and said, oh yeah, it's got flat top pistons, they're forged, it's got a cam in it, and I got it running, and it sounds like your grandmother's, Chevy Citation when it's idling. A lot of black smoke coming out of it, and I asked him, what's that for a carburetor? I haven't run the numbers yet. He said, that's my modified, I think it's an 800 or 850, big carb. He said, that was on my 496 that's in my 79 Malibu. Why? I said, you put that carburetor on an 8.5 to 1 455. Yeah. And he says, I don't think he built an engine right because it's a dog. He goes, it's no faster than before he rebuilt it. Matter of fact, it might even be slower. I said, well, for one thing, you're dumping fuel down. I pulled the spark plugs out to look down the holes, and the pistons were so carboned up, I had to take a screwdriver and scratch away to see 30 over, and there was a part number, and it's got old TRW cast pistons in it. So he's pissed, and he knows the guy. He needs to let the guy know he's pissed. So we've went through Clegg's and ordered a 470 stroker kit with flat tops. And with the CC heads I'm going to be using, it's going to be about 10 to 1 or 10.1 or 10.2 to 1. about a 500 horse engine. But when's the last time you saw a bench seat Grand Prix? This is factory. It's a loaded car, power bench seat. It's a gauge car. It's loaded to the teeth. Very solid car. When he was in his 20s, him and his dad did a rotisserie restoration. And I mean, the frame is painted GM chassis black. The car's gorgeous. It's one of the nicest ones I've ever seen. Beautiful car. So we're going to be doing a video on that. All the parts are in the house. Ready to do the stroker kit. Here's an oddball. The 73 Chevelle. This is the kind of stuff that they did in the 70s and 80s, if you remember right. Green and yellow and orange frames and making everything pop. You know, making Hot Rod Magazine, you know, cars. And this guy had this and a 77 Malibu Super Sport, a 75 Malibu Super Sport, and a Grand National. Luckily, he left the Grand National black. But that's just as far as he got on this car. And he cut in the door jambs and painted the deck lid. But this car has 40,000 miles on it. And if you can see by the quarters, this car is absolutely zero rust. It's made in Canada. And this is an unusual car though. The swivel bucket seats. It's a tack and gauge car. I have an NOS tack in the box. And look at that, folks. The good old 3-pedal car. And if you're asking any more questions or you have any assumptions, the answer is yes. This is a 1973 Chevelle Super Sport SS 454 4-speed car. And if you're lucky enough to have a car made in Canada, a GM car made in Canada, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, they were anal about keeping every single piece of paperwork versus GM of, you know, United States. Very hard to document some of these 60s and 70s Chevys because they didn't keep a lot of stuff. Whereas on the other hand, if you know anything about Pontiacs, Pontiac has a PHS or Pontiac Historical Service. From 61 up, you can get, it's the Bible. You can get a copy of every piece of paper that was with that car when it was new. Same with these. This is a 73 SS 454 4-speed. No air, power steering and brakes, heavy duty suspension, 342 posi, close ratio 4-speed, rear defroster. Underneath this piece, this new piece, there's a vent hole. It has one of those little blower motors, so it's got the early style rear defog, gauge package. It had the sports steering wheel, which is gone. I've got to find one of those. AM FM radio. The full gauge package with tech and gauges, blah blah blah. And these surprisingly came with those gray painted steel wheels with trim ring and a center cap that were 14s. They were like on Camaros in the 70s. They were kind of a homely wheel with bias ply tires. So I imagine this car, even with 245 horse, is probably pretty sketchy. But I'm going to put a set of 15-inch Corvette rallies on it. Nothing. I'm not going with an aftermarket wheel. I'm not going to make it look goofy. And I come across a 4-door parts car that is going to be here this weekend, which gives me every single part that one's missing. So, and I came across that was made in June of '73. I came across a March of '73 NOS 454 4-bolt main block and crank, still on the pallet. And of course I bought it. And I'm going to build the car to LS6 specs. And the other side of my family, they're Chevy freaks. And let's just say, to make a long story short, I have a set of NOS LS6 cylinder heads, cam, lifters. The heads are dressed. Factory intake, LS6 intake, correct carburetor. I've got NOS set of the high performance exhaust manifolds because I'm not going headers with it. Balancer, timing cover. I'm going to go with a Canton oil pan. I've been having my cousin even has a handful of LS6 the high volume, high pressure oil pumps, so it takes care of that. So it's going to be fun to drive. with a 342 gear. That's good gear. I already have half a dozen close ratio 4-speeds. I'm going to check dates. I imagine I've got a 73 or 4. This thing here I've had for most of winter. Just a piece of crap, a 60,000 mile piece of crap. It was in a damp, wet garage. Finally got the engine out of this 404 barrel. I thought it was stuck, but the starter was no good. I turned it by hand with a socket, so put my little concoction of acetone and trans fluid down it and let it sit for the night, and came out the next morning and hooked the battery to it, hit the purple wire, and it spun over like nobody's business. So we're going to be doing a will it run on this engine in the next couple of weeks. We're going to put it on the old trusty rusty stand and fire it up, let it run for a while, get the cobwebs out of it. Carburetor's still nice and free, it moves, all that happy good stuff. So this is going to be leaving the next day or two. Also in that back barn back there, I've got a 64 Dodge Custom 880 that I got. It was my first car, 15 years old. They made less than 600 convertibles, and the car looks just like this. This is a 64 Dodge 880 two-door, and they only made a few thousand of these. Mine's white with red interior, and so is this. This came out of South Dakota, and as you can see, is rust-free. Floors are just to die for. The trunk floor has most of the white paint still on it. It was a very, very lucky find. It was on Craigslist, and it was like a 5-month-old listing, and nobody had bought it. And I got the car. If you knew what I bought it for, you'd probably want me to send the guy more money, because I should feel bad. But I asked him, is that all you sure that's what you take for it? And he said, you got that convertible? And we talked for a bit, and he said, I want you to have this car. So $900 later and $800 to ship it, and here it is. But they needed an intermediate car for several years because they were shrinking the Valiant, and 61 or 2 was last year, I think, for that ugly thing. So in 62 they came out with the 880. The 62 look just like a Newport in the rear, because that's what they were. And they put an oddball front end on them that closely resembled a Plymouth. So they just kind of threw a car together with what they had, and they made a few design mods just to make it different, like the lines in the deck lid and stuff, for 63 and 4. While they were making, you know, they ran this through 65, but it looked like a Plymouth Belvedere, you know, like a 65. I don't know, I'm trying to come up in my mind with, I can see the car. It doesn't look anything like this, but anyway, 62 to 64 actually, and half of 65, they called it an 880, but it was something else. So anytime they make a very small number of convertibles, they take a hardtop, they cut the top off, and they make it a ragtop. And my car is no exception. I already have my car partially apart. You can see where they actually cut it apart. They would cut the end off of the rocker panel and slide a spring steel pipe that was shaped exactly like the rocker. They would slide it in there, and they would weld the cap shut, and that reinforced the car. They would cut it. Well, actually, here's the seam. The convertible comes like this. More of it, you know, just like that. Take the top off right here. There's underneath here is literally a seam off the package tray. You cut it out, so that'd be open for your convertible top. The motor goes down there. The mechanisms go down here. On the inner wheel well, there was a square plate, 1/4-inch thick plate, that they spot welded onto that, and had a tab sticking up, and the hydraulic cylinder for each side worked off of that. So voila, and then they would put back on the line and finish building. And I've seen about 6 for sale since I was 18, and I'm 63. And they were all white except one. Must have been a popular color. So over the fall, the period of the fall, as soon as I get the yard the rest of the way, as you can see, I've got all this is clear now, all the way back past the trailer. And there's just a little pile of bumpers and some odds and ends. And then I'm at the barn. There's a few things in front of the door, and then I'm gonna go down with the trailer and drag the car out. I'm gonna cut it right at the firewall, you know, for what I need on the front post. cut the back half of the quarter panels off it, and then cut it right at the rear floors and bring that section over to my friend's. He's got a body shop, restoration shop, and he's one of the best at clipping cars, at fabricating. He's one of the best. I'm good. I'm damn good, but makes me look like a journeyman. And he said, hey, we'll double team this thing for a weekend, and I'll get that thing made into a convertible for you, and we'll just work it out. And then at that point, that car will be in the barn where it'll stay until it's got paint on it. And it's a 383 car, and that one's got air. Mine didn't. So I'm going to leave it as an AC car. And I parted out a 64 post car, 4-door post car, and it was a unmarked police car, a pursuit car. It was really rusty, but it was complete, and it had HP 413, which would be the same engine for a 64 300, a letter car with a high output engine. I took the intake off, and it is in fact a solid lifter motor, and it turned over, and I never tried to get it running, but it supposedly had been parked and just sitting. It was sitting in like a lean-to carport, and I bought it years ago and parted it out, and so there's the engine that's going to be freshened up and go in my car, and that takes care of that one. So we've covered those there. Oh, I bought a T-37, and then the guy kept bugging me, so I sold it to him, and he gave me half the money. Now he's making payments because he can't sell his other car, and I told him he's got another week, and then I'm gonna, he understands. I'm gonna give him his money back, and I hope actually that he doesn't sell his car. This is a rust-free 71 T-37. It's from Idaho, and all original cars. Had a couple little touch-ups here and there. Original 352 barrel, and it was stuck. That's why it's jacked up. And I did the acetone and trans fluid treatment, and I actually got down there with bars, and I was about to give up and pull the heads off it, and it moved about an inch. And then I went and moved it the other way and back and forth. I moved it one way, and I took my starter button, my remote starter button, and hit it, and it would turn about 2 inches, and I'd back it up, hit it, turn about 3 inches. And I'm like, you know what? Okay. And I looked down the cylinders, and 5 of them were empty. It had taken all my acetone and trans fluid, and there was one that was all the way up top, so that one was okay. And the other 2 still had about 1/3 of the cylinder was full of my acetone. And those were the ones that had a little bit of crust around the top of the piston. And for some reason, someone took the exhaust off this car. I have no idea why. And when you do that, and they sit, it gets moisture up in there, and this is the end result right here. So I backed up to where it was right about in the middle, and I filled all 8 of them back up to the top with acetone and trans fluid. So I'm gonna let it sit until probably Monday, and then hit the starter button a couple times, and my guess is because it was going another inch or 2 or 3 every time I hit it. Back it up and hit it. So I just want to make sure that she's good and lubricated, and that acetone really does the trick on the rust, and to get her to spin over and clean the points, put a set of spark plug wires on it, and the spark plugs looked really nice, like they only had a few miles on them. And so they're going to go back in. I'm going to start her up on a gas can and a hose, and voila. So that pretty much takes care. That's a really cool car too, folks. And it's a post car. And I had it parked in the driveway for about a week when I first got here, and there were people stopping that were driving by. They were turning around, stopping, and leaving notes on the car. And a couple of them caught me in the driveway. Hey, what's the story on that? How much? So post cars are hard to find. And the last but not least, I do work for City Steel. Great guy, Joe is. I've got his GTO back there, and of course we've been talking about that all winter. I have everything for his engine. We're going to be doing a 3-part vid. I did a test fit on the lower end. I took it back apart, cleaned up a couple little things, and we're going to be doing putting the lower end together, the plastic gauge. I'm going to put this up on a tripod and do the plastic gauge on the bearings, spin the rotating assembly, put a cam in it, flip it back over, and part number 2 is going to be putting the heads on it, torquing those down in the correct sequence, laying the rocker arms on it, getting correct rocker arm geometry, because I've changed a few things. And then last but not least, putting the intake on it, the tri-power intake, and I'm gonna be going up probably 2 numbers on the jets. If it's got 78s, I'll go 80 or 82 on the jet. I'm gonna go up 2 or 3 numbers, because it was a 389 with a tiny cam. Now it's 453 inches with more cam. So, you know, just it's insurance. You know, it won't sit there and starve for fuel and stall on me. I want it to run and be able to idle so I can break it in. So that's going to be the deal on that one there, and she'll be gone. She'll be gone in the next 3 or 4 weeks. Last but not least, we got this truck. It's a Ford Super Duty. If you know anything about these things, now I'm not particularly fond of working on Fords. They're the hardest of the 3 diesels. To some guys, they're not. To me, they're a headache. I don't mind working on them. Now, mind you, everybody will tell you you have to pull the cab to change the turbo. In 2 hours, I had all of this off. The EGR cooler is almost ready to come off. Exhaust is loose because we're doing some upgrades. And plug that back up. And sat down and drank a beer. And the turbo was just laying on it. So anytime someone says, "Oh my God, I had to take the cab off this truck, change the turbo," it took me 3 days. I put a jack right under the fender, between the fender and the door where the frame is, and jacked the truck up, and took, not to where the wheels were off, but what it did was because the front end's so heavy, the front end sagged down about, I measured, it was just about ½ inch, between 7/16, ½ inch. More than enough room to slide both pieces of the intake out of there. No problem. Once that's done, walk in the park. As far as getting to the back pipes, walk in the park, man. So that's the story on that. But this is what we have here, folks. I'll show you. Let's see here. That's what I call a loose turbo. I can't believe that it didn't break all the impellers off and suck them down into the engine and terminate the engine, but it runs like brand new. Just doesn't have any power, of course. So, and there's the brand new turbo right here. Bingo. Hello, turbo. Hello, kitty. What's the matter? Yes, we always have cats around here, as you know. That's the last of the last batch. And Mama got hit by a car. I've had her for 5.5 years. Found her out by the mailbox. And there was 2 kittens left, and luckily they were old enough to eat. And my daughter took one from my granddaughter, and I've got this puffball that loves to attack my French bulldog, and they roll around on the grass, and it's hilarious to watch. That little kitten jumps up in the air and lands on her back, and she'll just walk away with this kitten on her back. They're like buddies. So as much as I don't like long hairs because they make a mess, I might keep it. I think it's a him. So this is another one out of the Dakotas. If you guys like these Ford Super Duties, go to North and South Dakota. Don't believe everything you hear about them getting 25 feet of snow a year and there's nothing out there. They don't use salt, and the vehicles are dead solid. So that pretty much does it. We've covered everything. It's good to see you guys again. There's going to be plenty more videos. Bob, I enjoyed talking to you here recently, my buddy in Mississippi. And Bob has had a life change. I won't go into any details. I don't do personal things, but let's just say that things are going a lot better for Bob. And if anybody deserved to be happy and have positive things happen in his life, it's my friend Bob. He's got to be in the top 5 of the most genuine, caring, considerate, honest straight up human beings I've ever met in my life. And I was a dealer for 27 years. I've probably met 10 or 15,000 people in my time, probably more than that. I was hitting the auctions at 17 and 18 years old. So I've met and associated with thousands of people. And I've been friends with quite a few people, and so friends, decent friends, acquaintances, good friends, thought they were good friends, people I've lost over the years. This guy's stand-up. So Bob, hope you enjoy the video. Gonna be seeing him real soon. I gotta get down there. I got some stuff of his, he's got some stuff of mine. And I've got a couple cars down there too that he's babysitting for me. And we're gonna grab two at once on the big trailer. And so, and I just cut the grass finally. It quit raining after a month. 3 days a week, man. Literally 3 days a week, religiously. I would have been disappointed if it wouldn't have rained 3 or 4 days a week. I'd have thought something was wrong. So, oh, and I picked up if you know anything about the old Kansas Jack style frame machines, that's what that is. That slides under a car. You lock it in, hook a chain to this or up in here, and you've got your porta power. And as that pulls back, this locks up under the car, and you can pull a frame straight forward, sideways. When I was a dealer and I had my shop across town, I had one and a friend of mine had one, and I bet I did at least 200 frame jobs with that. And I mean, we're talking pulling unibody cars, pulling frame cars. There's nothing they won't do. They're just unbelievable. Guy had passed away, had a little bitty body shop, 2 bays, and I found out about it. I went there and bought that. Bought this. You unfold this, and it's for putting a pickup truck bed on it to paint it or move it around or whatever you want to do. And here's all kinds of goodies for said frame machine. So God bless everybody. Stay safe, stay good. Love your kids, love your friends. Don't hate people. Stay neutral in politics if you can. Don't lose a friend or start an argument over something political. It's just, there's too much division right now. It's just not worth it. I'm hoping that that God will straighten things out and people start at least getting along in Capitol Hill enough to where they can, you know, sit next to each other and have a ham and cheese sandwich during lunch, for God's sakes, without throwing a pencil at each other. So hope everything's well on your end out there, and if you need any help, as I said before, feel free to get a hold of me. I had a gentleman reach out to me and sent me his engine, and he just wanted a mild 30 over 400 with like a Ram Air 3 cam, cast iron heads, Edelbrock intake, about 350 horse, and he's going to be happy. It's 9.6 to 1, I think, how it came out. And from the figures, it's going to be about anywhere from 350 or 360 horse to 370 horse. We're going to be doing that. We're going to be doing that build in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. Everything's here. I got the block back from the machine shop. They sent me the wrong cam. They sent me a hydraulic cam, and I wanted just a flat tap it. He wanted, you know, he was watching his budget, and I use a Howard's cam. They break in well every time. I'm batting 1,000 with them, and I've used about 15 of them now. So talk to you soon. Keep watching, stay safe, like I said, and like I said, leave a comment, subscribe. I'd like to have you on. Like I said, I'm not looking to get rich on this. This is not the purpose of this channel. I'm not going to be doing all kinds of advertising and everything else. This is real. If you notice, I don't do a bunch of editing and splicing and this, that, and the other. I'm a good old-fashioned boy that doesn't sit at the computer for 5 hours twice a week to edit videos. This is real-time video. When I start it, and when I'm done with the video, I stop it and I post it. So this one was kind of long, but I haven't talked to you guys in a while. Hope I didn't bore you guys too much, but thanks again for visiting, and like I said, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe, and if you need anything, question, need something done, reach out to me. I'll share my email information, and we start talking. We can share some contact information, and help you any way I can. And that's how I've always been. So God bless, and from John's Big Red Barn, we say, see ya.